Okay guys, so I'm going to be showing you how to make a brush today. So I've already imported this image of a skull, which is going to be a brush. And you'll notice that with brushes, it's kind of the darker areas that will show up the most, and the lightest it won't show up at all. So I've left the background on this all white so that we don't end up having this kind of weirdly shaped brush. So I'm just going to define that area for the brush. Here we go. Here's our brush. And now I go up here to edit, yes, and I say define brush preset. Here it is, and we'll call it skull brush. Which is fine and dandy. So we now have a skull brush. I can now, if I want to, I can just delete that layer. And Control D or Command D on a Mac to deselect. And I'm going to fill the background with a color because we're going to do in a couple of stages digital painting here, which is one of your exercises, right? So fill under edit and color. I'm going to say foreground color. In this case, I'll pick that blue there. Okay, it's a little weird. Let's adjust it. Control U. Maybe make it lighter or something. All right, that's fine. Or Command U on a Mac. Alright, and now we are going to go to our brush tool, and here it is. And what we want to do is up here we can pick our brush out here, and I made one earlier, so I'll use this one here because I want to name it and stuff. So here it is, our new brush. I'll bring it over here. If I put on caps lock, it will give me the actual shape and size of the brush. And if I use the bracket key, the left bracket key will bring the size, whoops, let's do that little word, bring the size down, and the right bracket key will bring the size up. So there we go. Alright, I'm not sure what that little jingling noise is, but let's keep going. I think I need to pick the new brush I just made because it hasn't been kind of played with yet. So here you see I'm making this brush now. No, that's not the right one, but anyways, here I am going to pick my brush again, try this again. Alright, it's got some presets already built into it, but we're going to go in and play with those. Now shape dynamics just kind of means that it sort of there you go. You can kind of see it moving around and stuff in there. It gives you an idea of what's going on. Let's try scattering. Let's bring the count up or down? Down, yeah, for sure. We're going to jitter down a little bit. Texture we're not going to touch for now, but you can play with all of these little kind of presets here to kind of bring this down, and you can see there you go that you really can have a lot of fun with these, and don't get too worried about any of it. I would just kind of put these in, and there you go. You can see that when I'm painting, I'm getting lots of these skulls in there. And let's bring the size down a bit, and let's change the color here. We'll go for let's say a white, right? There you go. You see, get the idea. I'm just moving my brush here. I can either make a single stamp like this, which is one click, or I can hold down and move across. And I'm getting lots of skulls here. I can keep changing the color if I want. I have lots of really options to play with this. I could also change the mode of the brush, and we haven't really gone into mode very much here, but it just means that it isn't a standard. It kind of does different things, like an overlay will give you this kind of funky sort of, well, overlaid look. And I'm not going to go too much into these, but they basically create different effects. So here you go. So we've got our wonderful new brush. We can bring the size up if we want. We can do lots of things with it, but ultimately I think that, you know, just there you go. See with the difference how it kind of puts these funky colors into sort of different areas. And I just encourage you to play with this to get the kind of results that you want. Okay, that's part one. I will do part two in a minute. Thank you very much.